Okay, brothers and sisters, um, we're going to explain heaven and hell first of all, and then we'll show you that in scripture. If you've been watching a lot of videos on the internet or even listening to a lot of people preaching, all these fake pastors and priests and whatever that preach, sometimes they will say, oh, somebody died and went to hell and saw people crying and burning and shouting and screaming, and then they prayed for him and he came back to life. Some other people will say, oh, they died, they saw Jesus, and Jesus was shining so white, he was looking so white with blonde hair, with his white clothes and all those nonsense they're talking about. Some other people will say they died and they were going to heaven, they saw the angels, all of them wearing white, all of them white guys, with blonde hair and everything. It's totally ridiculous. Now, brothers and sisters, that is not correct. If somebody tells you that he died and went to heaven or hell and saw heaven or hell, go and get Panadol for that person. That person is hallucinating. Go and find some tablets and give the person to take. And look for some vegetable and give the person to eat. You see, heaven and hell are both empty right now. There's nobody there, brothers and sisters. There is nobody there. It's empty. And this is why it's clearly explained in the scripture. Like I mentioned, when somebody dies, the person is gathered to his fathers in a holding place, a waiting room. It is after the day of judgment that those who are going to be cast out forever are sent to hell, and those who are going to be saved forever are sent to heaven. So let us go to the Holy Scriptures, brothers and sisters. Let me show you where you have heaven and hell. Now, if you want to see heaven and hell, there's only one place you're going to see it, and that is the book of Enoch. Why book of Enoch? Again, brothers and sisters, Enoch was given the testimony. He was shown the mysteries of the heaven, the mysteries of the earth, every part of the creation of the Most High. Enoch was given privilege to walk within the angels, to walk with the angels, within the tongues of flaming fire. He walked amongst the angels and he saw. Again, if you read the book of Enoch in chapter 1, he said, from them I saw everything, and from them I understood as I saw. So he saw these places and he wrote it down. So let's go to the book of Enoch. Let me explain to you these holding places that we talked about. The holding places. Now, the holding places have been created for the soul of men, for men who are alive when they die. Also, they created another holding place for the fallen angels as well. Those who have transgressed the law of the Most High when they came here and started pursuing women, sleeping with women, and giving birth to giants. The Most High prepared a holding place for them where they will be held captive for 70 generations until the day of judgment. So even the fallen angels are not in hell. So how can somebody say he died and went to hell and saw John Lennon? That doesn't make any sense. Even the fallen angels are not in hell. They are not yet in hell. It is only after the day of judgment, it is only on the day of judgment, that the Most High will banish people who deserve it to eternal condemnation in hell. And also will send those who deserve it to heaven. So let's see that in scripture. Let's see these holding places for both the souls of mankind and for the fallen angels as well. Let's go to the book of Enoch, brothers and sisters. Please follow me to the book of Enoch in chapter 22. The book of Enoch, chapter 22. Again, we'll keep saying this. Anybody who is not reading the book of Enoch, I don't know what is wrong with it. I don't know what to say, because you are really missing out on important information that is pertinent for your salvation. Now, the book of Enoch, chapter 22, you see, and I went out to another place west. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm reading the interpretation by R.H. Charles. That's what I'm reading. Book of Enoch, chapter 22, from verse 1, it said, and I went out to another place where there was a mountain and hard rock, and there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide, and very smooth. How smooth are the holy places, and looked deep and dark. Then Rephaiah answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, these hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should be gathered here. Do you hear that, brothers and sisters? That the spirits of the souls of the dead should be gathered here. That all the souls of the children of men should be brought together here. And these places have been made to receive them until the day of their judgment, and until the period appointed, until the great judgment comes on them. So it is one of these 4 holy places that you're going when you die. Some people teach that when you die, you're going to go around, roam around the whole world for 7 days before you go for judgment. Which I don't know where they got that kind of nonsense. Anyway, it is one of these 4 holy places you're going to go, and you're not going there isolated. You are going there with your ancestors. You're going to stay with your family. Whether you've done right, you stay with the members of your family that have done right. If you've done wrong, you stay with the members of your family that have done wrong. It is in one of these holy places that Abraham currently is. Abraham is not in heaven. He has not been judged yet. That's why the Most High told him, you will be gathered to your fathers. The Most High did not tell him, you're going to come and join me, let us go and groove. No, you will be gathered to your fathers, where he will await judgment like everyone else. Okay. Enoch chapter 22 verse 4, he said, I saw the spirit of a dead man, and his voice went out to heaven and made petitions. And I asked Rephaiah, the angel who was with me, and he said, this spirit which petitions, who is it on whose voice goes up and petitions heaven? And he answered me, saying, this is the spirit which went out from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes his suit against him until his offspring is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his offspring are annihilated from among the children of men. Enoch chapter 22 from verse 8, it says, then I asked regarding all the holy places, why is one separated from the other? You see, one of the holy places is different from the other 3. And then the angel Rephaiah answered and said, and he answered me and said to me, these 3 have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated. Divisions have been made for the spirit of the righteous, in which there is the bright spring of water, and one for sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. So these 4 holy places, one has a bright spring of water. That is where the righteous will stay and wait. That is exactly where Abraham is. That is where Lazarus is. And it is that hollow spring that the rich man saw and begged Abraham to allow Lazarus to bring water for him. Brothers and sisters, you understand this now. It is this waiting place that the rich man saw them drinking water, and in his own holy place there's no water, just torment. The other 3 holy places there's no water. It's just one degree of torment or the other, depending on the amount of sin and how much reparation the person who committed the sin has had in his lifetime. That is what these waiting places are for. These 4 holy places are the waiting places that have been created for the souls of men. Now let us look at the book of Enoch and see the places that have been created for the soul, or for the spirits of the fallen angels, where they are held captive. Brothers and sisters, let's go to the book of Enoch again, chapter 21. It says, then I proceeded to where things were chaotic and void, and I saw there something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of heaven bound together in it, like great mountains, and burning with fire. Then I said, for what sin are they bound, and why have they been cast in here? Then said Uriah, one of the holy angels who was with me, and was chief over them. Of course, the angel Uriah is chief over the stars. Okay? Enoch, why do you ask, and why art you eager for the truth? These are some of the stars of heaven which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here until 10,000 years. The time entailed by their sins are consummated. Okay, so you see, Enoch described where the stars of the heaven, they created a place for them to be bound. Now, the fallen angels that came here and had sex with women, they also are bound here on earth. The Most High said they cannot go back to heaven because they are not creatures of heaven. In fact, let me just quote it there. Let's read directly from the Most High himself in the book of Enoch. Again, the book of Enoch is very clear about this. The first time the Most High said something in the book of Enoch is in the book of Enoch chapter 10. It says, brothers and sisters, I'm reading the book of Enoch chapter 10. It says, then said the Most High, the great and holy one, Uriah, go to the son of Lamech, say to him, go to Noah and tell him in my name, hide yourself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a flood is about to come on the whole earth and will destroy everything in it. Now let's go over to verse 5. It said, verse 4, book of Enoch chapter 10 verse 4, it said, and again the Lord spoke to Rephaiah, bind Azazel. Azazel, brothers and sisters, is the fallen angel that basically taught humans how to do weapons and do makeup and commit a whole lot of fornication on the planet. He said, then again the Lord said to Rephaiah, bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and split open the desert which is in Dudael, and cast him in, and fill the hole by covering him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him live there forever, and cover his face, that he may not see the light. Verse 6 is it, and on the day of the great judgment he shall be hauled into the fire. Brothers and sisters, this is the Most High saying, on the day of the great judgment, Azazel will be thrown into the fire. So even the fallen angel is not in the fire. How can people say they went there and saw John Lennon? You see, so the fire is empty. Azazel is bound in darkness now. Okay, it is on the day of judgment that the Most High will destroy. Right now, He is a creator. Look around you, brothers and sisters. You throw one seed on the ground, by the time you come tomorrow, it started growing. You look at the grasses, they are growing. You cut them, they are still growing. That's because the Most High is creating them. His creative ability is functioning. He is a creator. On the day of judgment, these things will stop. The grass will stop growing. Everything will stop. And the Most High will destroy those who have not been fruitful to His word. That is what is going to happen, brothers and sisters. This is very important information. I wish there are ways that we can circulate this for everybody to be aware of it. Okay. Now let's go to in the book of Enoch again. We stay in the same book of Enoch, chapter 10. Let's go to verse 12. He said, when their sons, this is the Most High still talking, still telling the angels of the judgment for the fallen angels. He was telling the archangels the judgment that He has passed on the fallen angels. He said, when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations under the hills of the earth, until the day of the consummation of their judgment, and until the eternal judgment is accomplished. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment, and to the prison, in which they shall be confined forever. So the Most High said, bound them, tie them up, lock them somewhere. He told them where to lock them up until the day of judgment. That is when He's sending people to fire. So these Christian churches that tell you that, oh, this person died and went to hell or went to hell, They don't know what they're talking about. And with all due respect to whatever experience anybody had, this is what the scripture said about it. Brothers and sisters, it is funny. In those days in our communities, right, when people have near-death experience, what they will tell you is that they saw their fathers pursuing them with a cane to go back to the land of the living. I've heard so many of those stories in those days when I was growing up. When somebody has a near-death experience, let's say the person fainted or something like that, he will say, oh, I saw my great-great-grandfather, and he asked me what was I doing here in the land of the dead. And then I was about to answer, and then he pursued me to go back to the land of the living, and that's how I got up. This was the story then. But with the advent of Christianity, we don't know which one is which again. People are now saying that they died and saw Christ. If you see Christ, how are you going to know? You didn't know Christ in your life. How are you going to know? So, you see, these are just things that people are experiencing based on things that they hear. It may not represent reality. So anyway, this is what heaven and hell, this is what hell is. Nobody goes to hell when they die until after the day of judgment. That's when people who are condemned to wherever they are condemned to, if you're going to heaven, you go to heaven and you have peace and consolation. If you're going to hell, you go to hell and you stay in everlasting torment. That is what it is. But in the meantime, everybody stays in some kind of a waiting place, a holding place, until that day of the great judgment. Okay, now let's go and explain what heaven and hell is. Okay, now brothers and sisters, lest I forget, this holding place, the four hollow places that have been created for mankind, the one with the spring water is what is called paradise. That is what they call paradise. It is not heaven. It's paradise. So that is different from heaven. So let's go now and explain heaven and hell according to the scriptures. Please come with us, brothers and sisters.